Well, happy Saturday, everybody. It's been a while. I've been away for a little bit. I thought I could do some shows when I was away, but I got way too busy and didn't have good internet. So here we are. So it's Saturday. Just wanted to show you what I was up to when I was there, what I have done in the market. Hearken is our word of the day. Hearken is pay attention or listen. We hearken to the storm warning and postponed our weekend on the beach. So that is our word of the day. And let us go to our S&P 500 heat map, see where everything ended up on Friday. So the big cap tech was down, Nvidia was down, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla was down 2.33%. Google and Meta were up. Broadcom was up. Micron and Intel were up. Utilities were up. Amazon, Walmart, Costco, Procter and Gamble, and Coca-Cola were up. So that's kind of where we're looking at. And now let's switch over. I'm going to take a look at the indexes. S&P 500 was up on Thursday, pulled back a little bit, off 0.17%. The equal weighted on the S&P 500 is doing pretty good yeoman's work here. It's just coming up here. So this is just showing you that the market is spreading out the breadth of the other companies in the market, even though it was off 0.36%. The NASDAQ is, I think, the lowest in the indexes. Got a cup with a handle formation here. It's trying to get into the pivot area, so we'll see if it does, and it plays a little catch up off to the equal weighted in the NASDAQ. So it tried to get into the pivot, pull back. Looks like it's trying to fill this gap up here. So we'll continue to watch that in the coming days. The small capitalization stocks got, it's not quite a double bottom, but just trying to pull back up here. Had a little bit of sell-off off 1%. And let us go to the Dow Jones. Dow Jones did break out here, pulled back a little bit. Had a pretty good day on Thursday, pulled back a little bit on Friday. Some profit taking. Take a look at the dollar index. Since we've been away, it's not been doing too much in this kind of a trading range. Silver had two gap ups in a row. Got a gap up here to get above the 50-day, gap up here. Tried to move higher on this day, had a big sell-off, and then it bounced back the next day with a gap up. So silver, it looks like it's mostly in a tight trading range, trending higher. Gold is doing amazing. It is getting a little far away from the 10-day moving average. That is one of the concerns I have here looking at the map. And a lower volume on that move higher. So that's another risk. This volume on the sell-off day was a lot higher. 10-day, so I'd continue to watch that. Come over to copper. Copper is trading in a tight range. Had this big sell-off and it's bouncing back above all the major moving averages. Look at Denison Mines in the uranium area, had a gap up, strong move, try to get up to its 50-day moving average. So look at CCJ. Look at that big gap up above this area, huge volume. So that is the story with that one. Take a look at the VIX. Take a look at the 10-year treasury yields. They're mainly a big downtrend. Go back to 3.73% interest on the 10-year. And on the 20-year, it's holding pretty steady at 2.96% yield. And the VIX, tried to get up here, got up to 23.76. I believe our target was 23.86, and has been trending down ever since then. But whenever there's decline in interest rates, there is a little bit to a lot of volatility. We've been discussing. We'll have more on our Sunday show. So that is everything there we're going to take a look at. So these are some of the areas that we got into when we were away. VRT. It's up about 7.5% since we got in. We got in one of these 2 days here. We can take a look where we bought. We bought at 87.84. Yeah, I believe it was either this day or this day. Got in 87.84. We've been adding to it along the way. We had bought Oracle before we left, right after it announced earnings. Still holding pretty well. I believe we bought this at 152, right around 152. It's bouncing between 167 and 172. So we'll continue to watch that. We did have some ACGL. We've added to that when we were away, just kind of riding this 10-day moving average. It's above the pivot. So that is where we are there. We've been playing around with ALAB here and there. Once it cleared the 50-day moving average, we started to add with the intention of getting to a 10% position. And we have a 10% position now. It's getting pretty close to 10% gain on the shares. And we've just been adding as it keeps riding up. Had a pretty nice move here on Friday. Pretty good volume here, pretty good volume here. We see this as a bottoming base. Not quite a double bottom here, but right in here, look at this. This would be the middle of the W, and the undercut right over here. And then it's really never undercut again. Low here was 36.85. The low over here was 36.22. And the relative strength is rising against the S&P 500. So it's up 7% on Friday. Pretty nice move. Just continuing down our line here. We wish we had bought a little bit more of app when it broke out. We just decided on this big move here not to add any more. That was a foolish decision, I guess. But we did buy it right here at 91 on this day, and it's just continuing to ride on up. It is up, I believe it's up 37% since we bought it. 38.7%. We're still holding on to CAVA. We're going to see if we add here. Had a pretty nice move on Friday. Concerned that it was riding up here on lower volume, which can be wedging. But it was a good sign to see this nice move here on Friday, up 2.85%. This is major holding. I believe this is right around 25% of the portfolio. Carpenter Technology got into this and we added a little bit on this little breakout here. So Carpenter, we got in 144.88. Got in a little lower. The ad rose our average price a little bit, but that seems to be doing well. We don't have quite a 10% position, maybe an 8% position in Dave. We're buying Dave right as it crossed this line here and just kept adding right in this area. And we'll just notice that it seemed like in the software area, professional money was moving into that area. As you can see, been riding up here. Had a little rough day here, but then popped over here. The leader is ServiceNow. And it's really gone out of the pivot zone. And Salesforce is another leader that has been doing well, popped up right here on Thursday. Take a look at Microsoft as has a big buyback. And still on a base over here. So nothing really too exciting with Microsoft. Continuing on what we've been doing with the portfolio. GitLab. We bought on right over here. And right in the middle here, we added a little bit. As long as it doesn't undercut this gap area right here, we're going to stay in the position. We have Samsara. This is another one. Wish I had bought more than 100 shares, but Samsara, we bought that. That's up 26%, up 3.76 on Friday. Continues moving on up. Lower. Hasn't been doing so well since we bought it. We're just kind of watching, see if this is going to be a cup with a handle. Got a double bottom formation here. Got close to the 20-day moving average, undercut the 20-day, broke out right over here and came up to this area. And so it looks kind of like a cup with a handle. We'll see. It comes back to the 20-day moving average. This is in design, manufacture, and sale of aerospace. Natera. Let's see, where did we get into Natera? We had bought it originally at 117 and had really too tight of a stop. See, this is kind of the breakout area. We got back in like around 123. On days up, we added, so we did add up at a higher price here, like this volume on Friday. It pulled back to the 10-day moving average and bounced off of that. So that is Natera. Really like this earnings, 48% this year, another 42% next year. Took a little shot at Reddit, recent IPO. We did add to Reddit. It's up 6.5%. Our average share price is 62. So we'll see if this continues to get buying in from the money managers. Moving on from Reddit, we did put a very small position on NVIDIA to see where this goes. It may be at close to a top. The market goes up, we'll probably just do market rate returns. That's why we didn't put too much of it. We'll continue to watch and see if it gets any major volume in here. So that's NVIDIA. And here is our other big position, BITX. Right along here, got into BITX here, added some more here, added right along here. So BITX is up about 16%. Average price is right around 25. So right around here. I guess this day, bought some more right here, bought some more right over there. So that's BITX. And we will continue to sell shorts on it above the market. That's how things look there. Let's take a look at the big cap tech. We looked at Microsoft and NVIDIA. Tesla had a big sell-off right over here. Does look like it's starting to work on the right side of a base. We'll continue to watch that. Meta. I had too tight of a stop on Meta on this other account, other family account, and I sold some options against it. So probably have lost that over the weekend, but I'll definitely get back into this. Meta is in pivot zone. Had a nice strong move as it moved into the pivot zone on Friday. Volume was a little lacking, but it still was good. And the other one, I think we got lucky on Netflix. We had our short at 710, so we got away with that one. Seems to be a lot of good buying in Netflix. Had some selling on Friday, but it looks like we got some good buying right along here. This is where portfolio managers will kind of do just add things as the price is remaining pretty flat so they can get a good price in there. You can see it right off the bottom, 587.04. Just kind of rode this up. Right around here is where I put on the price at 710. Got up to 711 and then pulled back. So that's Netflix. Google still under its 50-day moving average. We do have a double bottom here, but need to take out this, need to get above 168.74 for it to be a buy. So it is still below that. A lot of times these things will come up to the moving average and get turned away as people continue to sell into it. Did get some pretty good volume on Friday. Apple tried to move higher and then sold off. Working on, it looks like the right side of the base here. This is kind of a short double bottom here, 196, and it has cleared that. And then it pulled back again, and then it's bounced above here. So I keep my eyes on Apple, Amazon. Working on the right side of the base here. Eli Lilly. I guess it's doing nothing wrong. It's still riding above all the major moving averages. It have a pretty strong sell-off here. Tried to move higher and then sold off at the close. Pretty high volume. If we're missing anything here, and look at Broadcom. get a double bottom here. 172.52 would be above the double bottom. That's something you might want to keep on your watch list. And you can kind of go around the market, see some of the subsectors, financials, right above this pivot here. Wells Fargo, looks like they got a double bottom going right here. Needs to get about 59.10 for that to be a buy. JP Morgan, still kind of holding the moving averages. Goldman Sachs looks healthier than any of those two previous ones. This is XLC. It's pretty strong with Google and Meta in there. Energy, pull back here. Did get a nice bounce. Look at that big gap up on utilities. Look at USO. Yeah, that looks pretty. It's trying to come back from this big sell-off, so we'll see where that goes. But I did notice in this sector, Weatherford had a pretty nice, some strong buying on it. Pulled back quite a bit. It's one that we rode from 68 to 130 area. Not in this at the moment. One that really took off with their alliance with Microsoft, Constellation Energy. As it came above the 50-day moving average, if you had been watching it like I hadn't been, could have been a nibble and just kind of added, and then you could have taken advantage of this huge move. There's another one in Powell Industries, substation packages. I guess this is utilities, energy, somewhere there. Has 162% earnings increase here. Has been kind of volatile, but it has just got back to the pivot zone. If I was buying this, I think I would have bought it right around here as it cleared the 20-day moving average. And then you have all of this where you could add some up here, another buy. Thing about this, it's had such a long move of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 10 days in a row it's gone up. So it is a strong possibility. Could have a pullback in here. This is almost like a V-shaped recovery. V-shaped recoveries can tend to be weak and sell off. So that's the one downside about Powell. This is real estate. You can see it has had a really strong move out of this pivot area. Continues moving higher. Biotech. Trying to get near the pivot here. You might want to look. Your really aggressive LabU has performed well. We've had it from up here to here. And from here to here, we're not in it at the moment. We're just kind of watching. Retail. Not doing too much to get excited about. XLY. Consumer discretionary. Popped into the pivot. This is where Tesla The Amazon are. Consumer staples. This is the gas drillers. Place to buy this, most people have talked about, is when it is at a low. When it actually comes up here and looks like a cup with a handle or a regular formation, that's when it usually sells off. So that's what happened right here. Look at this big sell-off. Transportation. Got a gap down in transportation here. We looked at software before. Doing well, popping it into the pivot zone. Here's the technology sector. Looks like we got a fill of the gap right here. SMH, looks like it's filling the gap as well. Sold off, fell to the 20-day or 50-day moving average. Home builders are in the pivot zone. Pulled back a little bit, off a little over 2%. Metals and mining. Got a pretty lopsided double bottom here. Needs to clear 60.76, clear the double bottom. XLB, pulling back a little bit. And there's a Fang U. Is this a double bottom? No. Sold off. Couldn't quite clear, come down clear to here. With the trouble with NVIDIA, Microsoft, and whatnot, might be a little bit more risky in this environment for those stocks at the moment. I continue to put it on your watch list. So that's our report for Friday. Glad to be back. And we'll catch up with you later on our weekend update. Hope everybody has a great weekend and have a great Saturday. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Do your own due diligence to find out what's right for you.